we
This
have been
conference
done.
will now be recorded.
So in the last class online session, what was the topic we were doing it? Do anyone remember? What was the topic we had been done on? Can anyone take initiative and let me know? What was the last topic we discussed? Is there anyone online? Disha, are you online?
Sir, yes, sir.
Yeah, Disha. So can you let me know what was the topic we covered in the last online class?
Sir, you taught about first we finished the journal entries, which we
Okay.
have done, and then we did about banking, sir. How when we deposit and when we withdraw the checks
Uh-huh. Yeah,
that were
yeah,
like banking.
yeah. Okay. Fine. So did we do with the bank reconciliation?
No, sir. Only with we have done with the registers. That is
Okay.
payment.
I'll just take you to that screen. Can you let me know in this what are the things we have been completed? So hope the screen is visible to you, ma.
Yes, sir.
Uh, can you let me know that which are the options we have completed?
Sir, we saw printing, register, and deposit payment advice.
Yeah. So the next concept what we are supposed to do it is bank reconciliation. So what do you mean by bank reconciliation? So the statement which we prepare it to compare it with the cash book, company's cash book and the bank statement. So when we are going to compare it, we will come to know that so which transaction has been reflected in my books of accounts, whether is it been reflected on the bank statement. So for example, if I am going to give a check for today's date, so what is today's date? It is 25th May 2022. So today's date check, whatever I am going to give it. So if I am going to deposit, so when I give a check to you, you are going to deposit tomorrow because now the timing is after the bank hours. So you cannot go now and you cannot drop it now. So tomorrow morning when you go and drop it, and it is going to get cleared on 28th. So let's assume it on 27th, let it get cleared. Okay. So now, as per this transactions information, in my books of accounts, whether do I record the transaction related to this check payment on 25th of May, or is it I'm going to record it on 27th May? 25th, I'm giving a check to you. So in my books of accounts, will I record it on the day of issuing a check, or is it the date on clearing the check?
The check.
Can you repeat it once again, ma?
Day of issuing the check, sir.
Yes. So if I'm recording a transaction on my books of accounts on date of issue, that is 25th May 2022. So here in my bank reconciliation statement, if I select the bank, so it is going to show it over here that the check has been issued on so and so date. Okay, so now when I'm going to show this statement, it is meant as unreconciled. So when it is going to get reconciled means the date of clearance. So on the date of bank statement shows your transaction. So that date is considered as a reconciliation date. So here we can be able to see three date columns. One is the date, which is there on the very first column, which is meant for transaction date. So that is in your books of accounts on what date of transaction you have been recorded. Second date you can be able to see here on the instrument date. Okay. Then third date it will be as bank date. Okay. So I think this was not a company. So let me check it out because there was one more bank. So what is the shortcut key to shut a company is Control F3. Okay. Actually, we did all your transaction on your uh, tally, right? So it was on the Disha's tally. In that company, we had been passed some transactions. Okay, let me take a minute of time and let me create all the details related to bank. So let me go to alter of SDFC Bank. So I'll do the changes over here itself. Okay, so it is 12 digit. So let me put it. The first four digit will be alphabet, fifth digit it will be number, and rest of the numbers it will be the branch code. The next Swift code, let me leave it blank. So bank name also not applicable. Then branch name, I'll give it as Jainagar. Then give the check details. I gave it as 001541 50, and it was a book 1, 001591 50, book 2. So if you people remember yesterday's class when we were doing it with the check range details, so this is what the details I had given. Next, check printing configuration, I used Alt B for sample format, and I had been given with the name, signature. So let me give it blank with the second one because there is no second party to have authority. Let's assume it like that. In case if there is a two persons other authorization is required, you can give the second party name also. So let me check it out. Print preview. Is that everything is fine? Yes, everything is fine over here. And accept the screen. So now let me go to the transactions related to the bank. So in that case, let me go to the display accounts books. Let me go to the ledger and choose it with HDFC Bank. It shows only those transactions which have been used with that bank ledger. Okay. So in the first entry, there is no need of any check details. It was required only with cash denomination. Accepted. Second entry, it was required with payment. So here I'm supposed to select the check range. So I will be selecting the check range and give it the first number. Okay. Suppose if you are not getting it by default, so what you can do it is you can be able to delete that entry and pass a fresh entry. So let me pass it a fresh entry. So debit IK interiors against reference where I paid only 20,000 as per yesterday's transaction. So here you can be able to see that check range, it is coming automatically, the first check range, and the instrument number also it is going to show you automatically. Then in case if you are going to print this check, it will be showing the check is issued with the name of IK Interiors account. Okay, but I don't want this name. With this name I don't want to give it the check name, so I want to change it. I can be able to change it, so that is by giving the favoring name. So this option by default it does not come. I have to press F12, and here I am supposed to enable with show favoring name option as yes. Okay, let me accept this screen and give the favoring name. So favoring name, it will be in the name of, okay, so let me give it as Rajesh. Let's assume it the owner name is Rajesh. Okay, so enter, accept it, and see the print preview of the check. You can be able to see that the check will be printed with that name which you have been given with. Okay, so Rajesh is not been created as a ledger. It is just an information we had been given only for the printing purpose. Okay, so let me press escape, and the entry has been accepted. So now let me go to the banking and let me go to the bank reconciliation. So in this screen, you are able to see all those transactions which are been passed by using the bank ledger. The particular bank ledger has been used in that entry. So the reconciliation should happen when the transaction, whatever you have passed in your books of accounts, should match with your bank statement ledger values. So let's assume that the first entry, so it is related to cash deposited to the bank. So that means whether whatever you are going to deposit into the bank through cash, whether it has to reflect on the same day or it has to be reflected on any other day. Can anyone let me know the answer? Is
On the
that
same
understood?
day.
On the same date? Very good. So let me give it as 1st of May only. So the bank date is nothing but the date of transaction has been reflected on bank statement. So that date I am supposed to enter it over here. So now in case if I'm going to give a check on 1st May, so whether it is going to get cleared on same date or different date.
Different date.
So let's assume it that it has been cleared on 2nd May. Okay, so I can enter the 2nd May date. So once you accept the screen, before accepting the screen, you should also watch that at the bottom on the right hand side, there is three things that is being given. One is balance as per company books. The next one is amounts not reflected in bank. and the last one is balance as per bank. So always your balance as per company books should match with balance as per bank. Okay. So now I have been entered the date for both the bank dates, and let me accept the screen. So now when I go back to that same report, bank reconciliation for HDFC Bank, if I go, it is showing how many entries we had before accepting the bank reconciliation screen. So how many entries we had, if you have been observed?
Hmm.
2. So now it is showing only one transaction. That means whenever I enter the bank date, it means it is reconciled. Okay. But I entered for both the entries. One entry got accepted. The other entry is not accepting. Can you try to find out what could be the reason?
Bank date.
So what is the difference you have got it in the bank date, ma? The answer was correct. So why it is different with the bank date? Because if I
The
give a
check
payment
got
of check,
cleared.
yeah, go ahead, ma.
The check got cleared on the same day in the first entry, and in the
Okay.
second entry, it got cleared on the second day. So
Okay.
I guess.
So that's what I have given it as a 2nd May. It was supposed to get accepted. Why it is not getting accepted means because can you see just right about to that? The dates are showing over there, the period date. So can you try to find out what is the date?
That is May, April 1st to May 1st.
So it is showing the date till April to May 1st only. So that means always whenever you are going to do the reconciliation process, so it will be done on the date basis. On that particular date, when you check the bank statement, if it is reflecting means yes, it is reflected and it is reconciled. That doesn't mean that I will just put any date to your bank reconciliation report and it has to get accepted. No, I cannot predict on 1st of May that it is going to get cleared on 2nd of May guarantee. Okay. So the date of report, whatever it is there, it is before the bank date what I have entered, or the bank date what you have entered, it is after the reporting date. Okay. So it is not going to accept the screen with the transaction details as a bank reconciliation until and unless you are giving the date before the or on the date of report. Okay. But let's assume it that when I checked out in the bank statement on 1st May, this check was not been cleared. So that means I cannot give it as 1st April. Sorry, 1st May. So I cannot enter the 1st May date because it was not cleared on 1st May. And I cannot predict also that it is guaranteed it is going to get cleared on 2nd May due to some uncertainties. So it may not get cleared on 2nd. Okay. So until and unless you are going to be there on that day and in your bank statement, it is not showing that, that means it is unreconciled. Okay. Then secondly, did we give the date for the report? Did we enter the date of report by our side in the screen? No. So why it is taking by default the 1st May only? Because the reason is when you are going to check in the gateway of Tally, whatever the date is there under date of last entry, So that is the date you are going to get all your reports on that particular date only, within that date only. Okay. So that means I have passed the transaction on the 1st May 2022. That was the last entry. So I didn't pass any entry after that. So all the reports, whatever, it is not only for bank reconciliation, any report in Tally, it will take only that particular date only. So if you want, you can change it when you are checking out the report, can be able to change it. So let me go to deposit. Sorry, it was bank reconciliation. So let me go to bank reconciliation, SDFC Bank. So what is shortcut key to change the period? So do
F2, sir.
anyone? Yes.
F2.
So always use Alt F2 for period change. So in some reports, it will work as a F2 also. Okay. So try to remember Alt F2 always. Okay. So Alt F2. So let me keep it, for example, from 1st of May to 2nd May. If I check the report, so that transactions, it will not show because my date of report is 2nd May I've given. So by the 2nd May, we have already given the bank date as a 2nd May. It has been cleared. And also you can observe that balance as per company books. So it is equal to balance as per bank. Both are same. So that means it is reconciled. But in case if I'm going out of the screen and again come back to that screen, so by default, it will take the same date of report because the date of last transaction was been done on 1st May. So in this case, how do we solve it? Means, so pass the transactions on regular basis. So let me go to the vouchers and pass one entry on 2nd May. Example, I'll take it as rent. So let me put it as rent and cash. Accept the entry. So now the date of last entry is 2nd May. So go to the report, that is banking, bank reconciliation. So you can be able to see the report. By default, it will take it as 2nd May. Is that clear to everyone? Please type it as yes. If not, you can type it as repeat. Okay, that's good. See, bank reconciliation is when you are going to compare the company books, cash book with your bank statement. So both should be equal. When there is a difference, that means it is not reconciled. It is not cleared. Okay. So whenever you are going to have a transactions related to bank, so that information it is going to show over here. And if you are going to pass a transaction related to bank, for example, I'll take it as a payment. So let me make a payment to IK Interiors only as an advance for rupees 10,000. So give me a minute, I'll be just back. Yeah, sorry for the inconvenience. Yes. So here I'm making an advance payment to a party. So with the 10,000 rupees and I'm paying it through the check. So when I go to the HDFC bank, automatically it will take with the check, and you can see that the check number also will be taken continuously. Okay. So let me enter accept it. So this is the payment what I have been done. So let's assume it that the receiver also a bank of same bank, HDFC bank. Okay. So if I go to the transaction, if I go to the bank reconciliation statement, you can see that the entry it is showing that which is not reconciled. I'm not able to get those two previous entries because which is already reconciled. Okay. So now let's assume it that I have given the check to the person and that person also has the same bank and it is the same branch. So if it is the same bank and same branch, whether it is going to get cleared on same date or a different date. Parvin, so can you unmute yourself? If it is same bank, same branch, it will be same date it is going to get cleared. Suppose if the banks are different, so if I'm giving a HDFC bank and the opposite person who is going to have a bank account on different date, sorry, on a different bank. So in that case, it is not going to get cleared on same date. It will be cleared on some other date. Okay. So let's assume it that person has been dropped the check some days after and it has got cleared as per my statement. When I check on 1st of June or sorry, it is a May month, right? Let me take it, consider it as 31st May, it got cleared. Okay. So now if I'm going to enter 31st May 2022. So my check date was on 2nd May. The transaction date also it was on 2nd May. But that person has given, he has deposited the check and it has got cleared on 31st May. Okay. So now after giving the bank date and if I accept it, you can see that on the date of 2nd May, it is unreconciled only. You can see at the bottom, the balance as per books and balance as per bank, there is a difference. Okay. Even though I give the date as 31st May, it is not going to accept it on 2nd May. It will be same as unreconciled. So let's assume it after certain days, when I check the report. So when I check the report on 31st May, so the shortcut key to change the period is Alt F2 or F2 in the report. So let's assume it. I'm checking the report from 1st of May to 31st May. So you can see that on 31st May, when I check it out, it is reconciled. Okay. Is that understood till here, Parveen and Ananya?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, good. So now, but when I go back to the main screen, and again, if I come to the bank reconciliation and select the bank, you can see that it is not reconciled. If it is showing in the banking reports, if it is showing anything information by default, that means it is not reconciled. It is not cleared. It is not printed. Okay. So now, if I am going to give it again 31st May, it will not show. But see, in the real time, I cannot predict it what happens in the future until and unless I have a document stating that on this day the check has been cleared. So we don't have any recordings for that. So that means it is unreconciled. So once I'm there on that particular date and in my bank statement on that date, if it is saying that the check is cleared, then it is cleared. Okay, let's assume it that we are on 31st May. Okay, and here in the date of last entry in the gateway of Tally. So what is the date it is showing in the date of last entry, Parvin? So what is the date of last entry it is showing in the gateway of
Second,
Tally? Can you repeat it, ma?
2nd May.
2nd May, right? So when I have a transaction on 2nd May, the last entry, if I have passed on 2nd May, then even my reporting dates also will be a 2nd May. Okay. So for that reason, I have to pass an entry for that date. That is on clearing date. That is on 31st May. So let me pass one entry. So I'll just change this date as 31st May. Okay. So if you check that, the date of last entry is 31st May. So now let me go and check it out. Can you check it out with the reporting date? What it is showing now? Parveen, can you see what is the reporting date on the right hand side on top? Yes. So that is on 31st May. So whatever the date of last entry is there, so the reports will be generated based on that date. Okay. So this is how the bank reconciliation will be done. Okay. So the next thing is, let's assume it. There is a situation that what was the last date of the last financial year? So what was the last date of last financial year? Disha, can you tell me what is the first date of this financial year? Very good. So that was the date of 31st March 2022. Okay, no problem, Disha. Good. So when you are going to give a check, let's assume it that you have given a check to some party on some transaction basis on 31st March 2022, and the entry is passed on 31st March 2022, which is belongs to the previous financial year, but the check has been cleared on 2nd May. Let's assume it. The check has been cleared on 2nd May. 2022. Okay. So how do I pass a information? So I cannot pass a transaction because the transaction is already passed in the previous financial year. Now I have to just bring the information to the bank reconciliation statement that there was an entry on 31st March 2022 and there is a check information for so and so, and now it has been reconciled. So how to do that means you can see here in this bank reconciliation date screen, there is an option called opening BRS. So use Alt H. So when I use Alt H, so here it is going to be the date. The date of transaction was 31st March 2022. So you can give the information about the transaction over here. Now there is nature of transaction. Deposit means it is receipt. Withdrawal means it is payment. Okay, let's assume it that it was a payment. So let me give the withdrawal option and it was through check only. So you can give any further information in remarks, but the credit amount was 1000. Let's assume it is 1000. So if you have the check range, you can be able to choose it. Otherwise, you can just select as not applicable. Give the check number, then instrument date and accept the screen. So here it is going to come with the opening BRS. So it is not a voucher type again. It is just an information. So give the bank date. So let me give it as 2nd May 2022. Accept it. Okay. So this is how you can be able to give it the BRS values, the BRS date. Okay. So by this, we are going to end it up with banking concept. Okay. So let's have a 5 minutes of break and we will be back and we'll start with the concept of TDS, what we discussed today in the offline class. Okay. So can anyone put that transaction details on the WhatsApp group so that we can follow that and I can be able to do that in the tally? Disha, can you do it for me that? So either Disha or anyone else who has been taken, made a note of those TDS transactions, please take a pic of it and put it into WhatsApp group. Okay. So we'll be back after 5 minutes. Thank you all for being online. Hope everyone are there online. So can anyone let me know that? Yes. Type it as yes if you people are there online. Thank you, Desha. Okay, Arina also online. Ananya. Thank you for your responses. Thank you, Jedra. Fine. So let us go back to the concept of TDS. So how do we implement TDS in Tally? So let me check it out whether I have received any. So I didn't receive any message. Okay, just take a initiative and please send it to me on the WhatsApp. Otherwise, you can be able to type those questions on the chat box also. That will be good. Okay, so fine. So now let me enable the TDS option in Tally. So the step number one is enabling. So Jessica, can you mute yourself? Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Disha. So let me put this information in Tally. So the gateway of Tally, press F11. This is company feature screen. Enable tax deducted at source as yes. So here the TAN registration number can be anything, but the TAN, tax deduction and collection account number, this should be in the format. So as we have discussed, it is a 10 digit and it will be with the alphanumeric. So the first 4 digits, it will be alphabets and 5 digits will be numbers and it will be an alphabet. So 451, 4 alphabet, 5 numbers and 1 alphabet. The next deductor type. So it will be company. Okay, thank you, Disha. So deductor type, you can be able to choose it any one of it, either company or individual or HF. In case if you are related to some other type of deductor type, so you can press F12. There is an option as show all deductor types as yes. And if you see that, you will be able to get a multiple options. So if you are related to anything, so I think someone has asked me that in case if you are a firm, so can we select it? Yes, you can be able to select it. Okay, so let me choose it as company. Then deductor branch or division, let me take it as South Bangalore. Then set or alter details of person responsible. So if there is any concerned person who is in charge of the tax department in the organization, who will be having all the access of giving the signatures for the challan forms, returns. Okay, so and the person on whose name we are going to give it, record the tax information, that person's details we are supposed to give it over here. Okay, so let me accept the screen. So as of now, I have not feed it. I'll just accept the screen. So now next option is ignore IT exemption limit. This always should be as no, because we are following the income tax exemption limit. If you want to ignore it, make it as yes. If you want to follow, make it as no. The next, activate TDS for stock items. As of now, TDS is not been enabled for stock items, let it be as no. Accept the screen. The next thing is, if I want to give the PAN number to the company. So if you have been observed, when I enabled the TDS option, I was able to give only the TAN number, TAN TAN. But if I want to give a PAN, so I have to give it in F11 screen. You can see on the right hand side, there is an option called more details. The shortcut key for more details, it is Control I. So let me press Control I so that I can be able to enter with PAN or SIN details. So PAN number. So it will be 5 alphabets, 4 numbers, and 1 alphabet. Accept the screen. Okay. So this is how the details of the TDS has to be entered in your company feature screen. That is in F11. Next, after enabling this, if I want to tell to Tally that what all the sections are apply to my company accounts. So for that, I am supposed to go to Gateway of Tally, create, select with TDS nature of payments. Then give the name of that nature of payment. So what was the nature of payment was applicable for the first transaction, Disha?
Rent on land and buildings, sir.
Yes, good. So rent on land and building. So the section number, it will be 194 IB. Payment code is 4 IB. This will be always the last 3 digits of your section code. Okay. So payment code will be always the last 3 digit of your section code. So remittance code, leave it blank. The next, value limit for a single bill. So this option by default, it does not be available. You can press F12 and enable the very first option, allow single bill value as yes, and allow tax rate without PAN as yes. Accept the screen. So here you can give the value as 30,000. So single bill value limit is 30,000 and the applicable rate for the individual RHUF is, so what is the rate?
10%, sir. 10%.
10%. Oh, sorry. Here we don't have it. The value limit for a single bill. It is only for the
It's 2 lakh
payment to
40.
contractors. Yeah. So is there is anything of a single bill value? Did I give it for this? Single bill value, whether did I give it anything related to rent on land and building?
No, sir, it is 2 lakh 40.
Yeah, 2 lakh
Okay,
40.
the
That is
transaction.
annually. That was annually, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So don't give value limit for a single bill. So here you are going to give the individual or HUF. So the percentage applicable is 10%. Suppose if the party does not give a PAN number, then it has to deduct at 20%. Okay. So the percentage applicable again on other deductee, it is 10%. So the threshold or exemption limit. So this will be 2,40,000. Okay. So you can be able to make a note of all these details. Accepted. So one more nature of payment which is applicable to my transaction, it was payment to contractor or subcontractor. Okay. So enter the section code is 194C. So the payment code, it will be the last three digit, that is 94C. So here the value limit for a single bill will be applied. So that is 30,000. So rate for individual or HUF, it is 1% for individual or HUF and 2% for company or other deductive types. Then threshold limit, it will be 1 lakh. Okay. So this is how the nature of payment it is to be entered. So the next thing is the ledgers. So what are the ledgers to be created? Whenever you have a TDS transaction, so whenever you have a TDS transaction, so you have a minimum 3 ledgers to be used over here. So what are the common ledgers has to be used? So I'll just type it in the chat box. Please make a note of it. So the common ledgers, it will be expenses or purchase. Either any one of this, it will be there. Then second important ledger is party creditors. So whenever you are going to pass a transaction for the TDS purpose, the party will be creditors. Okay. So who is going to pay the money? To whom the business is going to pay the money? The next ledger, it will be TDS duty ledger under duties and taxes. Okay. So TDS duty under duties and taxes. This is what the ledger you are supposed to create it for any kind of TDS transaction. So now let me know that as per our first transaction, what are the ledgers to be created? Disha, can you try what could be the ledger? Rent. Very good. So we are going to create a rent account ledger under. Very good, Anand also. And rent account will be under indirect expenses. So after selecting the indirect expenses, so here there is an option called is TDS is applicable? Yes, it is applicable. So if you press space bar, you will get the list of options. Okay. So select with applicable option, then select the nature of payment which is applicable for this ledger. So that is rent on land and building. So that means if I want to deduct the TDS, so it has to apply with that particular nature of payment rules and regulations. So only I'm supposed to select that nature of payment. So that was rent of land and building. Okay. So I'll just bring up once again. Yeah. So this is the ledger. So the next ledger is the party is Mr. Anand, the owner. And this party will be under party sundry creditors. Maintain balances bill by bill as yes. Is TDS deductible? Yes. Deductive type is individual HUF resident. Okay. So in case if there is any advanced entries of TDS, if it is showing, then press F12 and keep allow advanced entries as no. So as of now, we will pass it normal only. So these are the three options should be there. In case if advance is there, press F12, make allow advance entries as no. Okay. Now, these are the three important things. So the party should be created under centric creditors. Maintain balances bill by bill should be as yes. Then is TDS deductible should be as yes. Deductive type I have selected as individual HUF resident. Then deducted TDS in the same voucher, yes. Then provide PAN number. So provide the PAN number here. So without PAN number, it will be deducted at 20%. If it is with PAN number, it is going to deduct at the normal rate. Okay. So let me give some PAN number. So this is the information which you are mandatorily to be filled up with party ledger. Accepted. The next ledger is TDS duty ledger under duties and taxes. So type of duty is TDS. So here nature of payment. So either you can choose any particular nature of payment, but if you are going to choose any one nature of payment, so it will be applied only for that entry. It will not be same for all the other entries. Yeah. So here, let me not select any particular type of nature of payment. So let me choose it as any. So this is how you are going to create with TDS ledger. Okay. So these are the three ledgers is required for our first entry. Okay. So for the second entry, we are required with who is the party in the second entry?
Sir, GK Traders, GK Company.
Okay, GK company. So GK company under sundry creditors. So here also the same maintain balances bill by bill as yes. TDS should be as yes. And here deductive type. What shall I select it?
Company, sir.
Very good. So in the previous, it was the Anand where we selected as an individual resident. So here we are having that party name as a company. So we will choose it as company resident. Then deduct TDS in same voucher, yes. So PAN or ID number, So let me give it. Accept the screen. Next, another ledger, it was contract purchase. Under purchase accounts, is TDS is applicable? Yes, it is applicable. And here the nature of payment, I should select it as payment to contractor or subcontractor and accept the screen. So now the third ledger, whether should I create a TDS duty ledgers?
No, sir, because we already selected any of the payment.
Yes. So since I have selected nature of payment as any, so it is not required you to select create one more ledger for TDS duty. Thank you, Ma. So now these are the ledgers were required for us to pass the TDS transaction. So now let me go to the transactions, that is vouchers. So this is step number 3, passing the transactions. So as I said, the first transaction, it has to be passed through which voucher type? I think I have given a
But journal voucher.
journal voucher.
Journal
Why it is
voucher.
a journal voucher?
Because there is no involvement of cash. Because we're not paying at that time.
Just a
We are just
moment.
booking.
Yeah, one moment. Yeah. So the reason of passing it through the journal is whenever you are having a expenses. So the TDS can be deducted only on journal voucher or purchase voucher. So we cannot be able to take it rent as an purchase. So we have to deduct the TDS through the journal voucher only. So which we will also call it as booking expenses entry. Okay. So we will press F7 and we are going to pass the entry debit rent account. So debit the rent account. So what was the value? It was 3 lakh. So actual rent it is 3 lakh. So credit with the party Anand. Okay. As soon as you select the party, you will be able to get this bill wise detail screen in which you are supposed to select it with new reference. Okay. So new reference, the first reference, whatever it is there. So this is related to rent, which was supposed to be paid 3 lakh. But we don't pay that person 3 lakh. We will pay it at 2,70,000 because the other 30,000 it has been deducted for the purpose of TDS on rent. Okay. So new reference, you have to take it for both. The first reference it is for the rent purpose. Second reference is for deducting TDS on the rent. Okay. Finally, the amount it is going to be shown as 2,70,000. End of list. Okay. So if you see the party, it is going to be taken with 2,70,000. So the remaining 30,000, it will be for TDS duty ledger. So you can see the debit balance will be equal to credit balance. So is that clear to everyone with this transaction? How did we pass this? How it has been deducted? When you people are practicing, in case if you are not able to get the deduction by default, in that case, it is a problem with your ledger wise. So if your ledgers has been configured properly with the TDS informations, then it will deduct it. It will show the values automatically. In case if you are not being configured properly, then it will not get deducted automatically. And if you are going to enter it manually with the values, so that will not affect your TDS reports. Okay, so be careful when you are going to create the masters and use that for the transactions. Okay, so let me accept the entry. So before making a payment of rent to the party, the first entry I'm supposed to pass it is journal voucher for deducting the TDS. So the next entry, what we were supposed to pass it for this party, it is payment of rent. Okay, so now I have to go for payment entry F5. Choose that party, Anand. So make sure that you are getting a bill-wise detail screen. In case after selecting the party, if you are not getting the bill-wise detail screen, then press F12. Make sure this option pre-allocate bills is yes. Okay, fine. So let me select the party and get the bill-wise detail screen. So select the against reference because I'm passing the payment against the previous entry. So select the reference which are related for that party, both the references, because first reference is talking about the rent actually, and the second reference, select the second reference which will talk about the TDS deduction. And you can see at the bottom, so the value what we are supposed to pay to this party is 2,70,000. Let's assume it that have been paid through cash. So is that clear to everyone with the journal voucher of deducting TDS and making a payment of rent to the party?
It is Anand last entry. What did you pass it? Anand account debit to?
Cash or bank? I paid it.
It is 3 lakh only, no, sir, both the side.
No, we
It is
are
3 lakh.
supposed to pay. No. We are supposed to pay. I'll just go back to that entry. Can you see, is it a 3 lakh or is it a 2,70,000?
Sir, then we don't pass separate entry for TDS to cash, sir.
No. Why do? See, here I'm showing it that why it is 2,70,000. TDS, you are not going to pay it to the party. TDS, you are not going to pay it to the party. You will be paying to the government. So TDS payment is not included over here. So the reference, whatever you are seeing, actual rent was 3 lakh. In that, we are showing the reference of that TDS what we deducted. 30,000 is deducted. So I should be able to clarify to my party why it is 2,70,000. Can you see the amount? It is 2,70,000.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Suppose if I take it only against reference rent 1, it will take only 3 lakhs, which is not correct. Na? We are not paying him 3 lakhs. So if I want to show him why it is 2,70,000, where that 30,000 is there, so that I will show the reference because we deducted TDS. Is that clear, Disha?
Yes, sir.
Or should I repeat it once again if you want? Shall I pass it payment entry once again?
No, sir, I passed. I got it, sir. I thought only we should do separately, sir. Like Anand
No,
account separate and TDS separate.
no. TDS, we are not paying it to the party. We are paying to the government. Okay, so it is only the information I want to give it to my party. So with this reference, the rent was 3 lakh, but I have deducted TDS for 30,000.
Yes, sir. Now I got it, sir.
Okay, fine. So let me accept this entry. So now what is the second entry?
Purchase of payment, purchase of contract purchases, no, sir?
Okay,
Or
so I have to pass it which entry in this case?
purchase, sir.
It
Purchase
is
and
purchase. It is purchase. And I have also specified that it has to be passed only on specific mode. So that is control H. Which mode?
Voucher mode, sir.
No. If it was a normal entry, I would have gone to as voucher. But this is related to accounting invoice.
Accounting invoices, sir.
Okay. So accounting invoice. So select the party. So who is the party? GK company. Accept it. Select the nature of payment, that is the ledger which is related to this contract purchase. And what was the value I gave? 1 lakh, right?
Yes, sir.
So after selecting the purchase ledger, I should select by using space bar. I should select TDS duty ledger. So is
It
that deducted?
automatically gets.
Yeah, it has
Yes,
to
sir.
deduct automatically. Then only this will reflect in your reports. Is it fine? Okay. So now at what rate it has deducted? Is that anywhere in the screen?
2%.
Am I
No,
be
sir.
able to see the percentage? No. So what should I do? It means if I want to know either on the journal or on the purchase entry, if you want to know at what tax rate the TDS has been deducted, then you can press Control O. What is there for Control O on the right hand side?
Related reports.
Related reports. So press Control O. You will be able to get an option as TDS tax analysis. So use this and check it out. It shows that for which nature of payment, what value on that, what tax rate, and what is the duty value it has been deducted. Is that understood? Control O, TDS tax analysis. Okay. So to come out of the screen, press escape once. Don't press multiple times, then it will go out of your entry. Only once. Okay. You'll be back to the entry. The next, enter. So it will ask for bill wise details. So select the references properly. So new reference, let me use it. GK contract 1. So contract purchase 1. And the second reference for deducting TDS. So TDS on contract 1. 1 lakh minus 2000. Accept the screen. Okay. So this is how you are supposed to pass the transactions for deducting TDS in the two different situations. One was on journal voucher and another one is through purchase voucher. So now if I want to make the payment to this party, after purchase, I'm supposed to make the payment to party. So I will be passing it.
Sir, I'm not able
F5.
to get references, sir. Like I tried with I tried F12 also, sir, but also it is the option is
Okay.
enabled for bill-wise allocation.
So in your party ledger, did you enable maintain balances bill by bill?
Party ledger, sir. Okay, I'll check, sir.
So come to the gateway of Tally, or are you there on the screen of purchase where the party ledger is selected?
I'll come to ledger.
Okay,
1 minute.
come to the gateway of Tally, alter, ledger, and party ledger. Is that you were facing this problem only in the purchase entry, or whether you were facing the problem in journal outro?
Only purchase a journal I could do, sir, references. But in this party also it is there maintain bill by bill. It is option is
Yes,
yes, sir.
yes, okay. Now accept the screen, come to the purchase voucher. Are you been there?
Sir, I'm not getting, sir. It's okay, continue,
No,
sir.
no,
I'll do
no.
it later.
No, I'm asking you, are you there on the purchase voucher? It is a
Sir,
small changes. You come to the purchase voucher. Are you there on the purchase voucher screen? I'm asking.
the way I passed entry or
No, 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 no. I'm asking you
new
in.
okay, new screen. Okay, yes, sir.
So are you there on the purchase entry screen?
Yes, sir.
Press F12.
Yes, sir.
So in this F12, check it out. Use default bill allocation or use default bill wise. Is it yes or no?
Yes, on this side is yes.
Make it as no. Can you see on my screen? Is it yes or no?
Okay, no, sir.
So you have to keep it this option as no. So what is that it was making means when you make it this option as yes, that means Tally itself it will take the references on its own. Okay. So if you make it as no, Tally will ask you to enter the bill-wise reference. Now you try it. So select the party, then select the contract purchase ledger, then select the TDS duty ledger.
Sir, there's no option of references again here, sir.
So where is your cursor? Is it on the narration?
Yes, sir. The 98,000 there.
Press enter from there. Now you
Okay.
see, are you getting it?
Yes, sir. Now new
Yeah.
reference, sir.
New reference only. So can you see my screen? So take it in the
Yes,
same way.
sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So accept the entry. So that is what I say. Your problem will be solved by the Tally in the same screen where you are there. Only the effort we have to put it that either it will be there as a shortcut key or it will be there in the F12. Okay. So now you have accepted that entry.
Yes, sir.
So now you come to the gateway of Tally, go to display, TDS reports, and are you able to get the same reports options?
Sir, where I should go to display more
Gateway of
reports.
Tally. Yeah, Gateway of Tally display under statutory reports, TDS reports. Do you have a statutory reports?
Ah, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
In that TDS reports is there?
Yes, sir. I got this.
Yes. So might be you might have been enabled GST also, so only it was showing both, right?
Don't know, sir. I should
Okay.
check.
Did you got the screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So which form should we check it out? Based on our transactions and ledgers, whatever we created. So which report will have the information? Is it form
26Q, sir.
26Q? Yes,
26Q.
26Q will have all the information because the party whom we selected, the directory type, both were resident. We selected the first party as a individual HUF resident, second party as a company resident. Okay, so 26Q will show the information about only those party who are being selected as resident status. So you can be able to see the transaction information over here. So accessible value is 4 lakh. On that, the TDS which has been deducted at 32,000. So press enter, you will be able to see the transaction details. Okay, is it fine?
For second
Second entry, are you not getting it?
entry, we not pass the cash entry, sir.
See, here it will
No, sir. I
not show.
got this. I'm asking.
Yeah. That is what I'm trying to explain. Here it will affect the transaction only when the TDS is deducted. So there is nowhere
That second
connection.
entry.
There is no connection between the payment to party. Either you pay it to party or not. You deducted the TDS, na? So that entries will reflect over here. Is that understood?
Pay some contractor, then no.
Can you repeat it once again, ma? I didn't hear you clearly. See, I'll just say this. These are the transaction details like journal entry and purchase entry through which vouchers we have been deducted the TDS. Only those transactions information will reflect here. We made a payment to party. We paid the amount to the party. We didn't pay it to government. Okay. So once you deduct the TDS on the respective expenses or on the respective purchases, so that information it will show over here and it will not go off in case you make a payment. So it will be there in this report when you are deducting the TDS. If you deduct the TDS, the information it will show in the respective line. Is that understood, Disha?
Yes, sir. Sir, my question was that we don't pass cash entry, no, sir, for second one because we're not paying it.
That's what. That payment, what you are making it through cash or bank to the party will not have any effect in the TDS report. So that is a effect to your outstanding report. Where do we see the outstanding report?
Statement of account, sir.
Yeah, statement of accounts, outstandings, payables. Can you see here?
Okay, the first one we passed bank entry, so the amount is not there, but for second one we have to still pay, so the amount is there.
So the payment to party will affect your books of accounts. Okay. TDS report will not have an impact on that.
Sir, in mine payables is coming 98,000, sir.
For you, it is showing 98. Huh?
Yes, sir.
Just a moment. So whether have you taken the references the same way, or have you taken only one reference?
Yes, sir, there are two by like first time it did not happen, no, so there are two entries, so only it is happening like this. I got it, sir. There
Okay,
are two
fine.
entries. Huh.
Fine. You delete that entry, one entry, and then you check it out now.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
fine.
Sir.
Okay, so fine. We will meet in the next session, that is tomorrow, 4 to 6, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Have a nice day.